Hey everyone, this is Tom with the Green Dot Group. Thanks for tuning in and thank you for your attention as I quickly run through some of the things I believe are important about Lean Six Sigma and the value that it provides to organizations. So this is recorded within context of being a white belt, so it's not all the gory details of everything that Lean Six Sigma can do. It's just a high level overview of those things that I think are important to understand as someone who's starting out on the improvement journey or an organization that's starting out on the improvement journey. So Lean Six Sigma, it's been around for quite a while, and no, from its origins to what it is today, it's not exactly the same. There are some things that have remained constant across it, mostly the mindset and the commitment to providing quality to your customers, and then also paying respect to your people, the individuals, your operators who perform these processes day in and day out, to ensure that they have the tools, the skills, the resources they need in order to do an effective job. So one of the big things that I like about Lean Six Sigma is it's part of any good leadership system. So good leadership, according to Malcolm Baldrige, does quite a few things. One of those things in which Lean Six Sigma aligns pretty closely is it allows the organization to apply systems thinking in their activities to design, improve, and manage their key processes while encouraging the front line and the operators to innovate. So Lean Six Sigma is one of those methods that allows organizations to do that thing. Moving on to my next slide, I do just want to kind of give a recap of what Lean Six Sigma is. It is a continuous journey in the endless pursuit of perfection. So what they're trying to do within Lean Six Sigma is to identify and reduce waste, and also to identify and reduce variation so that the processes are highly reliable, repeatable, so that the operators know what the standards are and the expectations are, and so that the customers get consistent quality over time. So it's really about providing your customers exactly what they want, when they want it, in the way that they want it. Every single activity that the organization is doing is focused on the customer and the customer's definition of quality. And as you measure your outcomes and the data that is important to your organization, that data is a touchstone. It's really important being able to answer the question, how do you know change was improvement? So Lean Six Sigma, it includes a few things that I think are important to organizations in their journey. It is a systematic approach to delivering highly reliable and repeatable processes. And what I've seen to be helpful is organizations do it in a handful of ways, is that they take the journey and they break it into a couple of focus areas, which for me I've summarized in capabilities, systems and structures, and execution. So capabilities is kind of the tool set, the skill set, and the mindset of the organization. It's the training that you provide to the organization so that they can impact and lead change. Systems and structures, that is the environment, it's the tools, it's the mentoring, it's the coaching that surrounds the training that allows the individuals to practice those tools safely so that they can learn by doing in a way in which it's okay to fail. Because for me, and for what a lot of organizations have seen, is that quite a bit of learning occurs when things don't go according to plan, and being able to accommodate and adapt and get back on track is probably where the organization is going to do the most learning. So you want that to happen safely, and creating systems and structures that allow for experimentation, rapid experimentation, and learning by doing and failing is an important part of the improvement journey. And then the last thing is it's really targeting these tools, these techniques, and this training at what the organization would say is their highest priorities, and then tracking those results. And that's captured in execution. So to kind of return to Lean Six Sigma, they originated in two different or for two different purposes, and at two different times within history. So lean is the focus on waste and eliminating and reducing waste while maximizing value for the customer. And DMAIC is a framework, it's a methodology for bringing about improvement in an effort to reduce variation and defects. So the lean model is 5-step process, closed loop. You can see it's a continuous process. And DMAIC is a 5-step process, closed loop, continuous process. So let's just talk about lean here is to identify value. That is value through the eyes of the customer. And then with that in mind, you're able to map and analyze your process, and anything that the customer is not willing to pay for, that's waste. That's an opportunity for improvement. So as you map your processes and you're looking for opportunities for improvement, you want to identify waste and seek to reduce that first. And then beyond that, you want to take additional steps to make sure that that process is seamless and effective and efficient. And that's called creating flow. So flow is the ability for that process to deliver value without interruption. And one way that you can create flow is to think of your process as a pull system instead of a push system. So what you want to be thinking about is what are the most important or critical steps within that process step. And you want to optimize those and make sure that those kind of function first, and then everything else around it is designed with that critical process step in mind. And then this is a journey as you gather wins and you are facilitating an improvement. You don't just stop there, you continually improve and evolve so that you're helping the organization elevate their services and the quality of their processes in incremental steps, as opposed to trying to take on too much too soon. Now, DMAIC on the other side, it is the process by which problem-solving teams or Lean Six Sigma teams define the problem, measure the current state, analyze the root causes, come up with ideas for improvement, implement those ideas, and then sustain those solutions over time through a control plan. I'll talk a lot more about DMAIC in our white belt curriculum and in every curriculum. It's a centerpiece for being a belt. So I talked a lot about Lean Six Sigma here, but it's not the only improvement methodology that exists. It is used when the organization is trying to reduce variation or eliminate defects. So you see all the way at the end of the spectrum, what are we trying to improve? If we're trying to improve the process to reduce variation and defects, we're looking at DMAIC. If we're trying to reduce waste and gain efficiency, we're going to be using Lean and Workout. There are other improvement methodologies. You'll hear the design for Six Sigma, design thinking. Those are also appropriate in an organization's improvement journey. Project management is we have a known solution and we just need to implement that solution with rigor, project management. And then change management kind of surrounds them all, that if you aren't thinking about the human side of change, you're going to have some issues. So it's important that your organization also has a process for addressing the human side of change. So all that boils down to is that Lean Six Sigma is respect for people. It's about allowing them the opportunity to take ownership of their work, to look at and review their processes, to provide feedback on those processes. And if things aren't working, if these processes are working against the organization and instead of for that organization, it's allowing those operators to bring forward ideas for improvement so that those processes can be, one, more effective in delivering results to your organization, to your customer, but also that those processes are more of a joy to work with day in and day out. And the last thing I'll talk about in this is that this is truly a journey. I think this is something that we could probably dedicate a whole lecture to, is the Lean Six Sigma maturity model, which has been sourced out of the Master Black Belt Body of Knowledge. And I think it's important to show this is that organizations have to appreciate that there is evolution to this, that it's a journey, and it can take varying amounts of time to get to the most mature levels. And since we're talking about white belt, it's important to know that that's the starting point. And for organizations that are starting, or for people that are starting at the white belt level, they're doing level 1 or level 2 activities. So a lot of the projects they're working on are burning platform projects, are low hanging fruit. Not everyone in the organization has bought into the importance of using Lean Six Sigma. It's just a handful of visionaries that are bought in. So you're really working with early adopters at this phase, and they're pouring the concrete, they're laying the foundation for your improvement culture to later be built on. So if you, as an organization, if you're jumping in and you're trying to do really advanced project management, you're trying to quantify your projects in a sophisticated scorecard and put those results on your balance sheet or on the general ledger, those things, that occurs at levels 3, 4, and 5, and they're pretty advanced. I'm not saying you can't do them. I'm saying it's oftentimes better if you allow the journey to unfold one step at a time instead of rushing past those early milestones to get to the more complex stuff. So thanks for tuning in. I had a lot of fun sharing this with you. If you enjoy this content, be sure to check out our other videos and to check out our learning environment that is on our website, www.thegreendotgroup.com. Thank you much.